We work with everybody from the solo practitioner all the way to some of our clients are the big boys advertising on TV. We can see where folks are operating well and where they're not. We go and visit the pharmacies and we do our due diligence on a regular basis. We're not cutting corners. We're not cutting corners on testing. We're doing things right. Kind of a one-stop shop where you can go into one portal and have access to multiple pharmacies, be able to have a catalog of different options, HRT meds, peptides, GLP-1s, anything, hair loss, ED, as a clinician on seeing patients and growing and scaling your business.
If you would, tell us about Scripps. What is it?
Yeah.
How did this come about? Like, what's the purpose? What's the ethos behind it all?
Well, again, when I was advising and on the board for this clinic, which, had thousands of patients and, working with, a lot of different folks, what we really saw was a lot of the operational inefficiencies in a clinic, right? And so what I saw kind of observing workflows and different things was, they were working with multiple pharmacies and working in multiple different, systems and portals. They had 5 different invoices from different pharmacies. They had different pricing from all these things. They really had like 3 or 4 full-time people just trying to kind of make heads and tails of how do we place orders, make sure that they're being filled properly, have the right pricing, all of those things. And we said, look, there's got to be a better way to do this. What if we could build a platform where it's kind of a one-stop shop where you can go into one portal and have access to multiple pharmacies and, be able to, fill orders, have a catalog of different options, whether it's HRT meds, whether it's peptides, GLP-1s, anything, hair loss, ED, and just have a one-stop shop that you only get one invoice. You only have to deal with one, customer service group. You're not dealing with clarifications from 5 different pharmacies and sitting on the phone all day. What if there was a way to kind of clean all that up and streamline things so you just had to go to one place to get all of your fulfillment for all of your medications? And so that's why we started Scripps. And it's honestly taken like wildfire. It's made it so that one, clinics can get awesome pricing because we do really good volume and we were able to kind of pull that together. But it really makes it so that operationally you can just focus as a clinician on seeing patients and growing and scaling your business versus having to deal with all the headaches.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember when you first told me about this Scripps as a whole, and I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, like you already resolved like 5 of my biggest pain points in like 30 seconds, as a clinic owner. I mean, seriously, I remember when I first started, I had like a functional medicine practice at the time, but I was doing HRT and TRT. I just had one relatively large compounding pharmacy out of Florida. Everything's hunky dory. Things are okay. And then I don't know, hurricane, whatever her name is, rolls through. And just wipes this compounding pharmacy out, like off the face of the earth. I can't contact anybody. Everybody's fled the area. My patients are asking for refills. Of course, it's right around the holiday time. I mean, it was such a disaster. And so I said, never again. I'm going to have multiple pharmacies. So I had one on the West Coast and one in Florida. But then, of course, now I have 2 different portals, 2 different systems, different pricing. And I'm just I'm not a giant, I don't own 20 clinics and I don't have 500 employees. I can't even imagine doing that kind of volume and trying to make sense of it all with all these different portals. So, I mean, before I joined with you guys, I think I probably had at least 5 or 6 pharmacies. Because of course, also some of the pharmacies don't ship to some of the states, right? So it was just always something like I can't get this one thing, or right. This pharmacy is raising its price on X, or we're going to need to go over here. Anyway, so that is such a huge pain point for every single. I mean, whether you're a solo provider and you got 100 patients under your belt, or whether you're a multi, $1 million telehealth thing, like it's everybody's pain point. So well done on trying to bring this together.
I appreciate that. And yeah, you nailed it. Like that was a big piece of it too, is just the states. When you're obviously working in multiple states, some pharmacies don't ship. And so that's another pain point, to your point, that we've tried to correct, is make sure that we've got both coverage and redundancy, so that, if one pharmacy is out of stock or, has issues, that another one can take their place. I think that's really important. And yeah, we work with everybody from the solo practitioner all the way to some of our clients are the big boys advertising on TV that, you know their names and
Yeah.
everybody in between. So we feel like we can help everybody. And I think one piece that is really important is you don't really know necessarily who you're working with the pharmacy. Like some of them have really good reputations and what have you, but when you're dealing with literally thousands of orders a day, we can see where folks are operating well and where they're not. We can also,
Mhm.
because we go and visit the pharmacies and we do our due diligence on a regular basis, we know who the pharmacies that are actually doing things right and who those are not. And we've actually had to fire a couple of pharmacies that are very well-known pharmacies, and hundreds of clinicians are still using them because we saw them cutting corners. We had to remove them from our option, our portal, because we want to make sure that it's top quality. We're not cutting corners. We're not cutting corners on testing. We're doing things right.
It's interesting you mentioned this because I was just having a conversation with someone over the weekend about this, which is this idea that because we're in the wellness industry, we're outside of big pharma and big medicine, that everything's just like sunshine and rainbows, and the pharmacies, the compounding pharmacies, especially, are like the best things out there. But um, what most people don't recognize is that compounding pharmacies in many ways are not always so dissimilar from big pharma groups. They're going to try to cut corners. They're going to try to save on whatever cost they can. They're constantly having crazy amounts of turnover, both internally and sometimes even externally in some weird ways. Like, is that kind of the experience you've had with some of those pharmacies? Like, they're not all the good guys here.
I was talking to somebody about this last night. There's actually a lot of similarities in this, kind of compounding pharmacy industry to, the weed industry, 15, 20 years ago, as they kind of legalized marijuana and what have you. And so you had a lot of folks come into that industry that saw dollar signs and it was kind of like a little gold rush. And you're seeing the same thing here. And they're just trying to monetize as quickly as possible, make as much money as they can, and not necessarily do things right. And so we've had to really
Right.
separate and identify who those are. And give you a perfect example. I mean, we fired a pharmacy in Texas, and I'm not going to name their name, obviously, but they had set up multiple pharmacies so that when one got shut down, they could just pivot over to another one. And that's what they're going to keep on doing. That's the business model is we'll just make as much money with this, get shut down, move it over to the next one, and just make as much
Right.
as we can while it's, make hay while we can. And
Yeah. Yeah.
we're not about that. We want to work with groups that are like here for the long run, that are care about their reputation and not just dollar
Mhm.
signs.
It's great to hear that. I mean, because even from a clinician standpoint, like, it was probably not dissimilar from the the opioid gold rush, right? In the 90s, where it was like Dr. So and so, who's been in family medicine for 50 years, all of a sudden now owns and operates a pain clinic, right?
Exactly.
Out of
Yep.
South Florida, and they're just pumping people with pain meds. And it was just right. We can make a ton of money. We can make it quickly. Even if I get fined and lose my license, what do I care? I'm going to have millions of dollars stowed away somewhere.
Yep.
And I've even seen that with some of the weight loss clinics, for better or for worse. We have, I remember early on, clinics that were just popping up with clinicians who, I mean, weight loss isn't really all that difficult, but they're just slamming people with these really big doses. They're trying to get them to lose 50 pounds in a week, kind of thing.
Yep.
And for someone like me, and I think for someone like you, we're looking at this new paradigm shift in medicine and seeing this like 20, 30, 40 years down the road of like how exciting and beautiful is this going to be. And we see these other players who are right, just look, we're all trying to turn a buck here, but are we doing this in a way that aligns with this cool and really beautiful vision, or are we doing this in a way that's just maniacal and awful?
Absolutely. No, you nailed it. And again, that's why I love what you're doing and trying to kind of raise the bar in the industry. And, I think that's right. I think, with the weight loss groups, we've seen a lot of that, I'll tell you what's next, and it's already happening. I mean, it's actually quite a bit, is the peptide space, right? Like
Mhm.
there's new peptide companies
Mhm.
springing up every day, and they're trying to kind of monetize the conversations out on TikTok and Instagram and everything else, pushing peptides. And so, it's sad because, like, exactly as you said, we're here for the long run, and we see all the
Right.
great things with hormone optimization, really optimizing your body with the GLP-1s and how powerful they can be when done right, the peptides and some of the benefits they have. But it has to be done right. And it's hard because it's like a double-edged sword. They're so great, but if used in the wrong hands, it can be very dangerous. And so, yeah, it's a really interesting time.
Yeah, yeah. You're constantly playing that. We're the pioneers and the frontiersmen, right? It's like we're kind of in the Wild West. We don't want to not be able to use things that could be of great value and benefit to patients, but at the same time, like we're going to just damage not even just our reputations, but our industry's reputation if we do use things that are like, hey man, like it's just we're not quite there yet. Like give it, just be patient, give it some time, kind of thing. It's so frustrating. It's and it eats away at people who are just trying to do the right thing by their patients. And frankly, a lot of us just don't know better, right? I think that's the other thing is like it's an ignorance thing, and I'm not saying that as like a mean word. I mean literally, like none of us know what some of these peptides really actually do, and then but we hear some stuff on the internet and then we try it, and anyways, it's just you're asking for something to happen that's just, whether you like it or not, probably not going to pan out very well.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, tell me a little bit about like how difficult is it on your end? I mean, again, you're trying to manage all these different things from a compliancy standpoint when it comes to these pharmacies. Like, what are you guys attempting to do? Maybe that's like different than maybe some of the other big boy pharmacies out there have been around for a while.
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think first and foremost, I think especially in like the GLP-1 and peptide space is actually making sure they're doing testing. I will tell you that here's what's happened. Right? Is they first came out. They're very expensive products, and so there's this kind of race to the bottom, so to speak, to offer more competitive pricing so that it can get out to a broader audience. And
Yeah.
so pharmacies, in response to that, as they lower pricing, obviously they're lowering margins, and so as a result, some of them are cutting corners, underfilling, not actually doing testing, and because testing is expensive. And so some of those
Mm.
pharmacies are actually, that's how they're offering these prices, especially some of the ones that are focused on GLP-1s and peptides and offering really ridiculous pricing. Um,
Yeah.
they're not testing. And we have a
Yeah.
problem with that. We want to make sure that what you're getting is actually what's in the vial, and that it's pure and it's filled the way that it's supposed to, and what you buy is actually the amount that's in there. So I would say that's the biggest one, to be honest with you.
That's so interesting. So you're telling me there are pharmacies that are seriously underfilling?
We had to fire two pharmacies for that reason.
That's crazy. Like, I mean, it's funny. It's only funny because, again, I think and this is probably just me being always a very glass half full kind of guy and just totally naive. You would think that's like the last thing these guys would be doing is like somehow trying to cut corners on that front.
And it's, we obviously do our due diligence, and we're visiting and everything else, but sometimes
Sure.
we don't hear until we actually talk to clinicians, and their patients
Mhm.
report, certain things. And so the great thing about Scripps is we have such a broad reach, and we have so many different clients, that when, that issue is brought up by one patient at one clinic and they raise it to us, we're like, okay, we'll look into that. But when it starts happening and you hear the same thing in different parts of the country from unrelated clinics, then we have something that we really look into, and then we're able to kind of really get down to the bottom line and kind of find out what's going on. And so again, I think that's one of the benefit of Scripps, is because we do have such a broad reach that if you were just a clinic, you wouldn't necessarily know that. Like, your sample size is so small
Yeah.
that it's like, oh, maybe it's just kind of a one-off. But when we're able to see literally, thousands and thousands of, clinics that are having similar circumstances, that's not a one-off, right? And so,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's really interesting. But oftentimes we don't hear about kind of some of those things until a patient reports it to their clinician, and the clinician tells us.
Of course. Yeah. Jeff, remind me, are you guys licensed in all 50 states almost?
Yeah, so we are able to ship to all 50 states, and just through
That's
various
amazing.
pharmacies. Not one single pharmacy, but we have. That's
Right.
that's the beauty of Scripps, is you don't have to manage that, right? You go in there and we will tell you which can go where and everything else, whether it's hormones or peptides or GLP-1s. And yeah, it's hard to find one pharmacy that is one size fits all. And that's why you had 6 different pharmacies, right? And so through Scripps, we've established that reach of all 50 states and have redundancy as well. So it's like, okay, if I want to ship to Arizona, maybe one pharmacy doesn't, but we have 2 that do.
Thank you so much for checking out this clip and tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you really liked it, I definitely recommend that you click here to watch the whole entire video where I go into much more detail. Thank you again for joining, and I'll see you there.